Module 11, the circulatory system. An overview of blood circulation. Your blood flows around your body inside miles and miles of tubes called blood vessels. The blood is pumped through these tubes by your heart, which is a powerful muscle. The circulatory system is a closed circulatory system because the blood stays within the blood vessels as it moves throughout your body. Some organisms in creation, such as insects, have an open circulatory system where their blood leaves its vessels and flows into the open cavities of the body. After it moves through the tissue, it is then collected back into the blood vessels and sent to the heart. Well, there are 3 types of blood vessels in the human body. Arteries are blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart. Veins are blood vessels that carry blood back to the heart. And capillaries are microscopic, thin-walled blood vessels that allow the exchange of gases and nutrients between the body and the blood cells. They are found between the arteries and the veins. You have so many vessels in your body that if you were to lay them all end to end, one at a time, they would extend up to 60,000 miles or 100,000 kilometers. That's long enough to wrap around the earth almost 3 times. Well, to follow the path of a drop of blood as it travels through the body, let's begin at the heart. The blood flows out of the heart through arteries, again because arteries carry the blood away from the heart. As you move further and further away, the arteries begin to branch apart, so there are more and more of them. They get smaller and smaller in diameter with each branching. Eventually, the blood reaches the capillaries. These are the tiniest of blood vessels, with thin walls so gases, nutrients, and wastes can be exchanged. They are so small that individual red blood cells have to travel single file through them. The blood releases oxygen through the capillary walls and takes in carbon dioxide gas from the cells in the surrounding tissue. At this point, the blood moves back toward the heart via veins. Remember, these are blood vessels that carry blood back to the heart. The veins are small at first, but then they join together to form larger and larger vessels. Finally, there are only a few very large veins that reach the heart. There are actually 2 types of divisions of the circulatory system. The first is pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary circulation is circulation of the blood around the alveoli, or air sacs of the lungs. The second division is systemic circulation. Systemic circulation is circulation of the blood through the other tissues of the body. Systemic circulation involves the blood traveling here to all the body tissues except for around the alveoli of the lungs. Pulmonary circulation, on the other hand, is for gas exchange in the lungs. It sends blood from the right side of the heart to the lungs, where the blood picks up oxygen gas and releases carbon dioxide. Then the oxygen-rich blood travels back to the left heart. Systemic circulation then will send the blood from the left heart to the tissues, where the blood can deliver the oxygen it just received from the lungs to the various tissues of the body. There it will pick up carbon dioxide waste from the tissues and bring it back to the heart again. In the figure you have been observing, you'll notice that some of the vessels are colored blue, while others are red. This is a convention that is used to identify blood that is oxygen-rich and oxygen-poor. Oxygen-poor blood is often referred to as deoxygenated blood, but you need to know that it is not completely without oxygen, it just has very little. Well, in the diagram, red denotes oxygen-rich blood, or oxygenated blood, and blue denotes oxygen-poor blood, or deoxygenated blood. Additionally, you need to be aware that blood never really appears blue in your body. You may see bluish-looking vessels below the skin of the body sometimes, but skin doesn't transmit light well, so the color is altered. So blood really looks bright red when it's oxygenated and dark red when it's deoxygenated. But to make it easier to see in a diagram, we use red and blue. Now, when I mentioned the right heart and the left heart, I'm referring to the sides of the heart from the vantage point of the person who owns the heart. That's often another convention with diagrams. You refer to the position from the owner's point of view. Now, notice in the diagram that the right side of the heart sends deoxygenated blood out to the lungs. That's because that side of the heart receives the blood that comes back from the body tissues, with the exception of the lungs. It then pumps that deoxygenated blood to the lungs. When the blood returns to the heart from the lungs, it has picked up oxygen, so it comes to the right side of the heart as red blood, full of oxygen and ready to be pumped back out to the body. So we can say that the right side of the heart receives and sends deoxygenated blood, while the left side of the heart receives and sends oxygenated blood.